you and my Levi jeans. Took the river with Judas. Tearing down the barrel of his gun. Yes, he shot me down. I died and someone brought me back to life, but never to my senses. Bounce on that shit, dance. Bounce on that shit, dance.
All right, what's up? You guys watch the replay. That is fine. Welcome to the channel. I know it is early. I want to go ahead and get this live out the way. Honey, before we get into it, baby, I slept really, really good last night. I don't know what my sister gave me for my pain. I don't know, because I was like, my legs been hurting since that little workout. As your girl ain't been working out a lot, I need to get my body. It's like, girl, it felt good after that, but you got to get our muscles going. I think I'm gonna start doing. I do a lot of walking, so I don't know, but I'm gonna have to start doing a lot of cardio stuff again too. Yeah, I know y'all saw my story about the snake. Another thing, if y'all go to your corner stores, wherever your local corner store is, please check the back of your Starbucks iced coffee, or if you go to anywhere, check the back for that inspiration date, because I almost got one from last month on the first day of last month. So I gave it to the person at the store. All right, we're gonna get into it. You guys jump in, just know you know what today is, and then I'll do another story. I'm not gonna be on here long. It's just gonna be probably 30-35 minutes. The next time I do this, hopefully I have my blood that I need, since I gotta go to the store and get that, and we can start doing like Halloween makeup. Y'all will be watching it with me, and I'm gonna try to do it early in the morning, because I have a couple of ideas that's budget friendly. If you don't have the money, you want to dress up for work or dress the kids up, just a little budget friendly, you can, with some products you do have, okay? And make sure that it is fit for your face, for you not to have breakouts. We're going to do some scary stories. We're going to go to Scary Talk today. So it's just going to be various stories. I'll put Scary Talk instead of Talk. So we're going to do some stories. So this young lady says she saw something in the Grand Canyon. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to go to probably 3 or 4 stories. So if you watch the replay, listen. If you're new to the channel, hi, I do creepy story time, crime. We got a crime part coming today. I talk about a lot of things on this channel, even a little government situations to notify y'all what's going on. What is that on my mic? I don't know. Oh, Vaseline. Yeah. Okay. So sorry. So we go and I Vaseline my feet. My bad. I also do that at night. But we're gonna do a little bit of that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end the live. Listen, like I said, I've been up this morning. I'm getting all my lives out the way so I can go watch everybody else when they go live today, honey. It's Friday. I know everybody finna go live. So let's start. Let's share my screen. Let's get into it.
People think the Grand Canyon is empty after dark, but if you camp near Bright Angels Point, you might see something glowing in the cliffs long after sunset, like an office building covered in rock. And in fact, these lights are so common that some locals in northern Arizona have a name for this story. It's called the Canyon's Pulse. And we got a story from a listener who camped there. But before I get into that, it's important to note that these stories started back in the 1950s when a group of park rangers reported seeing a column of white fire rising from the Grand Canyon floor. Mysteriously, the ranger logs from that week have disappeared. This story came from Meredith, and she says last spring she and 2 friends were camping on the north rim of the Grand Canyon near Bright Angel Point. She said that part of the park is closed for a lot of the year, but they were camping in May, partially because they wanted to go before all the crowd showed up. And where they were camping was just outside of the official boundary of the park. It was down an old Forest Service road just off of Point Sublime Trail. Now, Meredith said they didn't have any service where they were camping at, and once the sun went down, it was total darkness, total silence. They went to bed early. She woke up around midnight needing to pee, and so she went off to the bathroom. That's when she noticed a faint blue light coming from deep within the canyon. She thought at first maybe it was a headlamp, but this was coming from deep below the rim, way past any campsite, way past any trail. She quickly rules out that it's a headlight or a flashlight because it pulsed 3 short bursts and then it went dark. She could not for the life of her figure out what it was. So she woke up her friends, they went to the edge of the rim again and they were looking for this light, and that's when it reappeared. But this time there were more of them. The original light lit up and then there was another one to the east, but she said this must have been miles from the original light. They all stood at the edge watching and they see a third light come on, and they're all pulsing and blinking in different patterns and different rhythms, and it almost seems like they're sending signals to each other. And that's when she said something happened that she still can't really explain, but her friends saw it too. The whole canyon for a split second lit up as if from within. She said, I swear to you, it looked like there were actual windows glowing behind the rock face like an office building lit up at night. She said you could even make out the pattern, square shapes of light stacked in rows fading deep within the canyon. And then she said as suddenly as it lit up, it went dark, and that's when they heard a low mechanical hum coming from deep down below them. And at that point, they noticed a dark helicopter that swept over the rim. It was totally dark, totally unmarked, and without lights. She said they didn't even hear it until it was almost right above them, but it turned into the gorge and then disappeared completely from sight. When the helicopter disappeared, the 3 lights that they saw originally also went out completely. The next day, they went over to the overlook at Bright Angel Point, and they were looking for any signs of campsites or anything from down below that could have explained what they experienced the night before, but they couldn't find anything. And they actually ended up telling a ranger what they saw, and he said, oh, those were probably just survey drones. So Meredith said she asked him, like, what kind of survey drone can make the inside of a canyon look like an office building, and he didn't answer. They stayed one more night, but didn't notice anything strange. So they camped 2 nights, and then the following morning they left and were driving toward Jacob Lake, and they were going to grab some breakfast. They ended up stopping at a diner that she said looked like it had been there forever, and their server was this older woman with her hair pulled tight into a gray bun. She was pleasant, she was polite, she was making conversation with them, and so they told her about the black helicopter and the lights they saw in the canyon. But this woman didn't even bat an eye. She's like, oh, you saw them, huh? And they're like, we saw them. What do you mean? She's like, yeah, y'all aren't the first people this month to see them. We call that the canyon's pulse. And then she leans in and she's like, back when I started here, the rangers used to come in here and they would talk about these pulsing lights and nobody knew what they were. Not even the rangers. They would show up, they would pulse, a black helicopter would fly down, and then they would all go out. Meredith and her friends press her for a more concrete answer, but she said she doesn't really know much. And she said, some people say they're survey drones, and that makes sense, sure. Other people think it's related to the Cold War experiments they were doing at Camp Navajo. She tells them that they'll never admit to anything, though. But then she says, I think that it's the canyon itself. I think the canyon watches people. I think it's alive. And then Meredith and her friends are like, why do you think that? The woman smiles and she says, yeah, when I was young, I was hiking with my brother, and I swear the whole canyon lit up like a city. There were lights coming from everywhere. And I just felt like the canyon wanted to be seen. I can't explain it further than that. It's just a feeling that And so Meredith's like, well, has anyone...
If the canyon doing that, it could be 2 things. And they had the Navajo experiment. It could be 2 things with this story, y'all. The cannon probably, the Navajo Indians probably put some on that cannon just to say, just to say, hey, I want y'all to check here. Something you need to see. And maybe they want someone to see it for a very good reason.
Else around here seen it, or what do they think? And this old woman's just like, nobody around here thinks anything. Everybody around here knows. Meredith said she's been back to the Grand Canyon twice, and although she hasn't seen the lights again, she just has this feeling now that there's something buried and ancient there that's hiding in plain sight. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I've only been to the Grand Canyon once when I was too little to remember it, but I would love to go back. So anybody local, please weigh in. If you're new here, my series is called Spooky Scary Stories.
I think I passed through when I was going to Arizona. I'm not sure, but I think I did. All right. Oh, that's not his mama.
Hey, y'all, come here. Wrong house.
Child. Okay.
On August 2nd of 2025, an old home video was posted by a girl named Kayla, who happens to be the girl in this footage. Although taken many years ago when she was just 3 years old, this recording continues to linger in her mind. And it's not because she's fond of this memory, but rather disturbed by it. To this day, she has no explanation for what was captured in it. In the video, Kayla's aunt is recording young Kayla eating a bowl of soup. She's sitting at the table talking to her aunt when suddenly something catches her attention. What happens next has left her family spooked.
come in here.
Oh,
Okay, stay in there. Stay in there in the library. But come in here. Okay? I won't let you anymore. I'm not trying to get.
Who you talking to?
I don't like that.
I'm gonna let this play. But I had the same experience with my niece. Hey Terry, when I lived in Tampa at this townhome. I'm gonna tell the story after that, and we gonna go into another video. But once this finished, I'm gonna tell the story because y'all gonna be like, "What?" I don't know if she remembers, but I'm gonna ask her one day, and I'm gonna let her see if she still remember it.
Who you talking to?
I don't want to. No.
Huh?
I don't like that one.
Well, who?
She said, "I don't like that one."
You don't like who? What, baby? Like what?
For reasons unknown, Kayla begins talking with someone who isn't there. She immediately looks to her side as if sensing someone before telling whoever or whatever is there to not get any closer. But eeriest of all, after telling them many times to stay away, Kayla becomes frightened.
What, baby? Like what?
Whatever it was that she saw had terrified her immensely. Now fast forward to this day, and Kayla makes a video explaining what she'd seen. It goes without saying, but what she says makes this whole video even more terrifying.
Here's a story time because I know a lot of people were asking. So basically, we were just eating potato soup, and I guess I saw something or someone on the stairs, and I was like, "Don't you come in here!" And they just kept getting closer to me, and you could see that I'm looking that way, and I'm just like, you know, because it's coming at me, and I'm like, "Get away!" And I guess it wasn't a good ghost because I've seen other ghosts. And I don't know if she has them on video. I'll have to ask when I get home. She didn't even want to send me that.
Whatever it was that she had seen on the stairs would not leave her alone. They, or it, was seemingly persistent. To this day, she can't explain what she'd seen, as her memory of that moment is faint. She was only 3 years old at that time, but her aunt clearly remembers this moment, including...
If she would still remember seeing it from 3 years old, children don't have recollection of that. That means that she saw what she saw.
Other times when Kayla would talk to someone who wasn't there. At one point, little Kayla had told her aunt that she was playing with her Barbies upstairs when an old man started talking to her. But unfortunately, Kayla has no recollection of this incident or other occurrences. Whether she had seen a ghost or something else remains a total mystery. On August 2nd of 2025, an old home video was posted by a girl named Kayla, who happens to be the girl in this footage. Although taken many years ago when she was just 3 years old, this recording continues to linger in her mind. And it's not because she's fond of this memory, but rather disturbed by it. To this day, she has no explanation for what was captured in it. In the video, Kayla's aunt is recording young Kayla eating a bowl of soup. She's sitting...
All right, so I'm gonna pause that before I tell the story. Then we're gonna watch some more. So when we stayed in this townhome, my niece was like, I say she was the same age as her. And we didn't move to Atlanta yet at all because that's when they started their kindergarten year in Atlanta. So we lived in a townhome in Tampa. Now, I don't know if the land before they built these townhomes was, if it, like somebody was buried underneath it or something. I don't know. So my niece was having she was just being her typical her and my son, used to run around and play. That's when I noticed I have a boy and I realized that boys have to have stitches and all that. But anyway, so they like to jump. My son used to like to jump on stuff and yeah. Anywho, just being a typical boy. So my mama would be home and I used to work at night and my sister used to work like in mid shift, get off, my sister was a young teen mom. So we all working, doing our thing. My mom, she wasn't working anymore. She had to get disability because of her health and stuff. And she used to watch the kids for us. When I tell you, my mama used to sit here and it started like that first or second week after we moved up, and my niece would just be talking to somebody, And then my mom caught it and she said, yeah, this my KJ. She used to say about my son, this is my KJ. And I'll be like, or she'd be like, that's my auntie, or that's my mom. Everything was mine, right? That was a thing. So my mama looked at her. She was like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to the young girl right here. I forgot her name. But my niece, she said, what's your name? And she told my mama the name. And she was like, okay. She said, yeah. She said, you know, mama, she got a daughter. Yep, she got a daughter. Her daughter was the same age as me. And I was just like, what? But the daughter, she would never see the daughter. So, like, my mama called me. She say, Malish. I say, yeah. She say, you know, she set up half of the night talking. So one day my sister called it, and my sister was like, please don't do that. She was like, no, she right here. She say, my sister got scared. My sister was like, don't tell me nothing else. Don't tell me nothing else. So this the time when I told the story, my mama saw somebody walk through the closet and disappear. So she kept telling she kept talking. So one day we were all home. I had just got my hair done for my birthday. And my mama was having a full conversation. My mama was like, she was talking to one of her friends, and shout out to her. I wouldn't say their names, but shout out to them because they told my mama, they was like, let her ask her what she say to see if it's not just her imagination. So my mama say, all right, I'm going to ask her. They all agreed. So everybody sitting around, we in the living room watching TV talking. And she was like, her name is such and such. She my friend. She not bad, though. She not mean. She nice. She was telling me this. My niece, remind you, my niece is like 3 or 4 years old. This old man sat here and, he took her and her daughter on a ride. And these apartments, they weren't here, Mama. They weren't here. They weren't here. They weren't here at all. And KJ, then my son was like, tell her what she said about the man. I'm like, what the hell? So she say they weren't here. She say that man did something really bad to her, and he just unalived her. I'm gonna put it like that, but she didn't say that. And then he buried her around here somewhere. I said, what? She said, yeah, she real pretty. She walk around here sometimes. She not bad. She say she just want to make sure we okay because she don't know where that man is at. And I say, baby, what happened to her daughter? She say, I don't know. Somebody, her family took the daughter. I don't know. So I went searching for the name. I couldn't find it. I think it was really, really old. And if it happened and nobody knew, I believe it had to happen. I believe those apartments were built in the early 90s, between the 70s and the early 90s. But it had to be around the 50s or 60s. I truly believe nobody knew this girl was gone, missing, nothing. No one knew. I don't know. I've been looking for information about missing women. It wasn't none. So it had to be around the time that black women, I don't know if black, white, back then things was just that. But she said the old man did something to her. It was an old white man. When we moved, my niece did not have any recollection of talking to her ever again. So I did deep research. I couldn't find anything, but I'm going to try to go to call the city. And I've been thinking about it to see how can I find about missing people. I think my niece still remembers. She's 16 now. And she'll probably tell me. We're going to play some more stories. But my niece we had the same experience with my niece. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I always told my mom I'd rather deceased people in my dream than to see them. I probably have seen them and don't remember, but the older I got, I'd rather if I see them, be like, listen, don't talk to me ever again. And I believe my niece probably is a veil baby too. I'm not sure. But she been here before, and I always said it, I believe she been here before. She came out talking, and she see things too. She just don't say anything. My son start to see and sense things as well. So I don't know if I done passed it down to them I don't know if somebody in my family has had that, but I always say, I probably see some people I thought was here wasn't really here, y'all. I probably seen them and thought they wasn't here. Let's play this one.
I was on Reddit the other day and I came across a story that was so creepy. And the dude, he was talking about how since he was a little kid, he was always afraid of the supernatural, or the paranormal rather. Like always afraid of things that go bump in the night. And it was kind of embarrassing how even as he got older, that never really went away. But when he got into college, he met this woman and he fell hard for her. He fell hard enough for her actually to marry her. So they get married and they pretty much got the type of relationship where they best friends. And life pretty much going good until one night, he wake up in the middle of the night. And when he look over to the side of the bed and see that his wife ain't there, he like, where the hell is she? But he hears water running in the bathroom and he assumed, oh, she must be in there. So he go downstairs because he need him something to drink. And he like, the hell? Because he see his wife down there drinking water. And he a little confused, but, you know, he shake it off. And he get him some water, mumble about it being hot. And he like, you know, come back up and join me in bed. But he leave her, go upstairs. And when he get to the room, his wife is already asleep in the bed.
What the hell?
So now this wake him up a little bit more. He going to tap her
and
wake up and say, hey, won't you get downstairs? And she half asleep and she a little annoyed and she like, you must just be tired. Like get in the bed with me. He don't think none of it and go to sleep. So the next day when they get up, she think about it and she tease him a little bit. She's like, oh, last night she was tweaking. You so timid, you so afraid of the paranormal that you think you seeing stuff. You thought you saw me in the kitchen, but I really was in the bathroom. You was in the bathroom. And he like, oh, okay. And he don't think too much of it. He like, maybe I was dreaming or something.
Hell no, she telling something.
So a week go by, and it's a Saturday morning, fresh, bright, early in the morning.
Wonderful morning.
And his wife tells him that she wants to go get some groceries so they can have breakfast together.
That's nice.
And she leave.
Okay.
So he get up, you know, he take his shower and everything. And he goes down to the kitchen to start preparing the table and everything so she could cook. And when he go down there, he see her down there in the corner by the sink drinking water. And he like, oh, when did you get back?
If every time he see this thing drinking water in the corner, something ain't right. Something ain't right.
Got back quick. And she don't say nothing. She just smile at him.
Oh no.
So why you sitting there thinking like, why is she being weird?
She not being.
All of a sudden the doorbell rings.
Think about it.
So he leave in the kitchen, he go and answer the door. When he opened the door, guess who's standing there? His wife with bags full of groceries. So now he in shock and he just standing there dumbfounded. And she don't know what's going on, so she kind of like, are you gonna help me? But she noticed that he didn't turn pale, like pale. And he like, I this time I know I'm not dreaming. It's broad daylight. I'm wide awake. And he like, I just saw you in the kitchen. And he said that them pretty green eyes of hers, well, this was the first time that they actually looked off, that they actually creeped him out, and that he didn't feel safe. And when she peeped.
So y'all see that comment, he saw a doppelganger. Well, you see this supposed to be a bad thing. We're going to say that word instead of the other word. If you see something like that, just smile at you and don't say nothing. Dad, pray. Pray Psalms. Pray. Or John 3:16. Pray a protection of Psalms or John 3:16. There is an Archangel Michael prayer that you can look up that just I hear a lot of people pray when they see stuff like that and use it. And baby, them people say, baby, they ain't never seen a bright light so bright. Come in and say today. I'm telling you, go read that prayer.
How he was looking at her, and after he said that, she was like, okay, we need to sit down. I have something I need to tell you.
Oh, Lord.
But this getting long. So if you want to know what she had to say, let me know in the comments for a part 2. And don't forget to like.
Let's go to her page. I want to know what she told him. Okay, now.
But once she looked in his eyes and saw how scared he was and realized how pale he was, she told him, okay, we need to sit down. I have something to tell you. Part 2. So they go to the couch and they sit down and she's saying, listen, I'm sorry. I should have told you this a long time ago. But you're not the only one who experienced this. As a matter of fact, when I was younger, my family claimed they used to see me all the time when I actually wasn't there, or seeing me in multiple places at once. But since nothing bad ever happened.
Okay, so now this makes sense, y'all. She probably had a twin that did not make it. Her mama probably had twins. Have y'all heard people that was pregnant with twins and then something happened to the twin, or during that first stage they see 2, and then when they go back and check and the baby start developing as 1? I really think that's probably what she's saying. So she was supposed to be a twin. That's what it sounds like. I'm gonna let it keep playing.
They took it as normal. So he's hearing this and he's trying to take it in. And, he processed it and eventually he accepted. But at the same time, who really accepted it as normal? But whatever it is, what it is. And things continue to happen. He'll see her sitting on the bed, then go downstairs and see her cooking in the kitchen. But one thing he made note of was that whenever he saw her, he didn't see both of her at once. Like there was never an overlap. He also made sure that he pointed out that it never spoke to him. That it never spoke at all. That it would just look at him and smile. But other than that, it never really interacted with him, and he ain't interact with it. And his wife never told him what to call it. And he ain't know what to call it either. But eventually he referred to it as just the entity. Mm-hmm. And learned to live with it, just like her family did. That is, until one day, everything changed. It was a Sunday morning just like any other Sunday morning. And his wife told him that she wanted to go visit her parents and asked him if he wanted to tag along. But he told her no, it's a Sunday. He just want to stay in and relax. So she like, okay, baby. And left him to do him while she went to go see her parents. He was sitting in the living room and he decided he wanted to get a snack out of the kitchen. And when he goes into the kitchen, he sees the entity. But he's used to it by now, so he's just like, hey.
Oh,
but this time something different happened.
He messed up.
And he answered the phone, and he heard his wife's voice. And as soon as, I didn't scare myself. As soon as he hears her voice, he hears glass shatter. And it prompts him to turn around, and he see this thing, and them pretty green eyes again terrify him, but this time it's because they're not green no more. They black, and her mouth is twisted. Mm-hmm. And he says that her head is bent almost in a perfect 90-degree angle, and it's pointing at him. And his wife heard the glass shatter too, so she on the phone like, what the hell was that? Was that you? Are you okay? And he like, no, it was her. Now, I know some of y'all don't like cliffhangers, but I'm sorry, I actually gotta go, so I gotta cut it short right here. But if you want a part 3, let me know in the comment. And when his wife heard the glass shatter, she like, are you okay? Was that you? And he like, no, it was her. Part 3. Once he said that, she immediately started screaming, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Look away.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought it was the first time. So there's 2 things could be true. Either she had a twin and it was supposed to be here and it, or it's the M word. The M word. We've talked about it before. Y'all know when we talked about the M word, who the M word is.
Hey, hang up the phone. So that's what he did. He hung up the phone, closed his eyes, and looked away. And a few seconds later, when he opened them and turned back around,
what happened? She was gone.
She was gone.
Yeah, I know.
So we called his wife back. And he's like, what the hell is going on? And she said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They said that we'd never overlap. We'd never overlap.
Told
and
you.
Like, Who is they? What are you talking about?
I told you.
So she told him, I'm rushing home right now, and I'll explain everything when I get there. And they got off the phone. And all he could do was sit and wait. But in that moment, he realized that the person that he trusted and felt safest with all this time was the person he feared the most. So the wife rushed home, and when she got there, he like, okay, you need to start talking.
Yeah.
And again, she was like, I'm so sorry, you don't deserve this. I'd never purposely put you in harm's way, but they told me that me and her would never overlap. And again, he's like, they? Who is they? And she's like, my family. It was only one other time that this happened. And he like, okay. She said, well, when I was younger, I was very sheltered. Like I said, my family was used to this thing. It only seemed to show itself to loved ones. But because of that, I couldn't really go spend the night at friends' houses. And
she was supposed to be a twin. And her family, something happened, and her family practiced stuff.
They couldn't come over because my family was afraid that they might come across this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But one day they gave in, and they let my best friend come over to spend the night. And she was in my room, and I came upstairs. And when I was coming upstairs, walking to my room, I heard her talking to someone and laughing. And as I approached the door, she saw me in the mirror. She saw a reflection of me. And when she saw me, all I remember is this confused look on her face. And then I heard a scream that could make a heart stop. And the door slammed. And I ran up to the door. I'm banging on the door. And I'm telling her, don't look at it. Look away, look away. And all I could hear is her screaming, no, no. And then silence. And the door opens slowly. And the room was dark. So I cautiously walked in, and I faintly whispered her name while feeling for the light switch. She didn't respond, but once I found the light switch, I turned the light back on. And she was sitting in the corner crying. I slowly walked up to her and put my hand on her shoulder. And I said, are you okay? When she looked up, she said, I can't see. I can't see. Whatever this thing was, it made her go blind. Then she said the last thing she remembers seeing was her. Except them pretty green eyes were pitch black. Her mouth was twisted. And she was just pointing at her. And that's all she remembered. Then his wife said, but it hasn't been an overlap ever since. Not till today. And he thought about it. He said, I'm actually surprised that it took this long to happen. But she said she was told that it would never intentionally try to overlap. But then he asked her, what is it? She's like, I don't know. Nobody ever told me. I don't know. I just remember when I was younger, my great-grandparents talking about it, saying that it happened with another family member. So honestly, if we wanted to find out more, we'd probably have to go visit them. So fortunately, it turns out that her great-grandmother actually lives about 3 hours away. So they made a plan that they'd get up early and they'd go ask her some questions. And then they go to bed. The next morning, his wife wakes him up and tells him that breakfast is ready and to meet her downstairs. So he get up, he washes his face, brushes his teeth, and he turns the corner to go downstairs and almost falls backwards because she's standing right there drinking orange juice. So he's like, oh my God, you can't scare me like that. And she just says, sorry. And then they go downstairs. But then they decide they actually don't have an appetite because they're still shaking up from last night. So they get in the car and they start towards our great-grandmother's house for their 3-hour drive. Now, he made it a point to mention that the whole car ride, he was holding his wife's hand. And that he felt safe and secure. And every so often, she would squeeze his hand, or he would squeeze it back, just as a bit of reassurance. And he said some time went by, and he started getting a call on his phone. And when he looked down at that caller ID, it was his wife's name. And as soon as he read his wife's name, he started feeling his hand being squeezed tighter and tighter. And that's when he realized this whole time he wasn't with his wife. Now, don't hate me, I did try to make this one longer. It's just a little bit left, but I actually got it. As soon as he saw his wife's name on the caller ID, he began to feel his hand get squeezed tighter and tighter. And he said, yeah. So he like, this don't make any sense. What happened? And she told him, I don't know. When I woke up, I was under the bed, like somebody knocked me out and stuffed me under the bed. And then I came from under there. I'm looking around and I couldn't find you. That's when I realized what must have happened. And that's when I immediately called you. But he's confused because as far as he knew, this thing never spoke to him, never spoke at all. But now it's drinking orange juice and saying sorry and telling him breakfast ready. Now it can leave the house. It's like this thing is evolving and it's able to trick him. He thinks to himself, how he gonna be able to tell them apart now? And then he felt that burning sensation in his hand again. And he looked down, and in his hand is burned the words lucky. So he tell her, listen, stay on the phone with me. Do not get off this phone with me. And they continue to drive until they make it to her grandma's house. And when she first walks up to him, she pulls a lighter out of her pocket. And then she burns her palm. And she says, if you ever doubt it's me, now hopefully you can tell the difference. They start walking up to her grandma's house. And it's kind of creepy and it's quiet. But they ring the doorbell. And nobody answers. Then his wife hears someone scream. And he don't hear it. But he changed his mind. He, like, maybe we can figure out something else. I don't think it's a good idea to go in here. But she like, no. We need to. So he decided to jiggle the doorknob. And it's unlocked. Now he opens the door and his wife walks in first. And as he's following after her, he puts his foot kind of in the door and doesn't go all the way in. Because again, this man been scared all his life. He done seen all the movies. He like, this not gonna happen to me. And as soon as he puts his foot in and peeks in after his wife, she gets collapsed on the floor and passes out. So he like, what the hell? And he kind of scrunched down with his foot still in the door. But he tapped her like, baby, wake up. Are you okay? And when he looks up, he's skimming the room. And he realized, and it looked like ain't nobody lived here for a very long time. And then he looks on the walls. And it's these weird red symbols. Then he turns his head to the hallway. And he sees his wife. Eyes black, head bent, mouth twisted, and pointing. So, with his foot still in the door, he already knows what to do. He looks away, and at the same time, he's putting his arms under his wife and trying to drag her out. And he's able to maneuver her and pull her out around. And right as he does that, it's a good thing he had his foot there because the door slams on his foot. But he gets her out and then carries her to the car. And as he's getting in the car, he looks back to the house and he could see that this thing is running after them. But he don't waste no time. He pull out the driveway and he look in his rearview mirror and he can see this thing and it's screaming. It's not chasing him anymore, but he don't care. He put foot to gas and he gone. Wife still unconscious. But he drive for a short while. To him, what felt like hours. Until we found a motel for them for the night. He also pointed out, though, all while he was driving. It was like he could hear windows and glass just shattering, which I can only imagine had to be terrifying. But the scariest part was the anxiety, the fact that not once did he take his eyes off his wife, and the fact that he couldn't. Because now that this thing getting smarter and intentional, she could probably switch out with his wife anytime, any moment. For now, though, I have to stop there. I'm sorry. I'm actually almost running late a little bit to get my baby. So I gotta go. But I'm not even gonna ask if y'all want the next part. I know y'all do. So last time I left y'all, him and his wife barely just escaped this entity. And it was. And he told her, I'm sorry, but I had to be sure. And she said she couldn't even blame him. That she wanted him to feel safe around her, but she don't even know if she could trust herself. And she just looked sad and started crying. And, you know, he agreed with her. He wanted to feel safe around her too. But this whole thing was just crazy. So now they're sitting there just trying to figure out their next move. They know that it's probably not the best bet to go back to the grandma house. And they think it's dangerous to go back home. So while they're sitting there thinking of a master plan, his wife all of a sudden remember her best friend from her childhood years. And she like, maybe we should contact him. As far as I know, the last time and the only time this ever happened was with him. What other choice do we have? So they get on the internet and do a bit of research, and eventually they're able to find him. And they find out that he's part of this group that holds public speakings and seminars for the visually impaired. And ironically, his next meeting is going to be in town the next day. So the next day, that's what they do. They go to the seminar and they listen to him speak. And the husband made sure that he pointed out what he noticed at the end of the speech was that this man said the day he went blind was the last day he ever felt fear. Now, once the seminar ends and everybody starts to disperse, him and his wife are trying to figure out how to go up to him. You know, she hasn't seen him in years, and how do you even approach somebody with this situation? And as they're trying to figure it out and they start walking towards him, all of a sudden, he come up to them. And even though he can't see, he smiles and turns right in her direction and says, I knew you would come. She told me. So her and her husband looking like, okay. But then he continued to explain that he actually kept in touch with her great-grandmother over the years because she felt so bad about him losing his vision. And overall, she pretty much wanted to keep tabs on him because she figured if this happened once, it just might happen again. And of course she wanted to prevent that from happening because whoever her grandbaby, her great-grandbaby was going to be around, something bad was going to eventually happen to her. So he said how the grandmother went through all types of research, studying demonology and mythology and whatever she could get her hands on to try and figure out how to bind these sisters to the house. But when him and his wife hear this, they look at each other confused like, sisters? What do you mean, sisters? And the friend proceeds to tell them that when he went through what he went through with this thing, he could have sworn that before everything went black, that he saw another entity standing directly behind the first one. And because of that, the great-grandmother never really knew what to call them. She didn't know if they was doppelgangers, if they was mimics. She gets to know it was two of them, so she called them sisters. And he told them that maybe they should go talk to her. Maybe she could help. But of course, they told them they did that already. And when they got to her house, that everything seemed like it was just in disarray. Like, ain't nobody been in there for a long time. And he mentioned the weird red signs he saw all over the walls. And when he mentioned them signs, the friend was like, oh, it sounded like she tried to perform the ritual already to bind it to the house. Then he said, based off what y'all telling me, it don't sound like she survived it. nor do it sound like it worked, because how come this other sister is able to follow my wife around anywhere and everywhere and even leave the house and get in the car and what? It's not making no sense. But they take all this in. And now the husband like, so what now? And the friend says, honestly, I don't think it's safe for y'all to be alone or to go back home. If you'd like, me and my wife would love to have you over for the night. She'll make dinner and everything. You're welcome. So the husband like, you know what? I could use a good night's sleep because I haven't been able to rest well because I don't know when this is going to be my real wife or not. Of course, he didn't say that in front of her, but that's how he was feeling.
Should have fast forward a
So he
bit.
go over to the friend and he get a call on his cell phone. And he see it's his wife's name. Draw us in to go to this friend's house. He figured maybe it wanted him to see what it took from them. His wife's pretty beautiful green eyes that he loves so much. And her joy. Now, as I mentioned in the caption, I got the story from Reddit. And that was the last update I read.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to end this live here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Will be back soon at 9:15. And we're going to talk about Sakaya. Hold on. Sakaya. Is that how I say this girl name? The girl that put on her husband mistress clothes after she unalived her. We finna talk about that at 9:15. We finna go into detail about that soon. So if y'all have any scary stories y'all would like for me to know, let me know in the comment section. And I'll tell you where you can go and send them to me through my email. If you want me to read them on here, if you want to be anonymous, let me know. I will read them, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And if you have any scary experiences that you want to talk about in the comment section, you can too. Like I said, if you want me to start reading y'all stories, let me know. You could put, I would like for you to read a story of mine, and then I'll reply and send you my email. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Roman on 7 days, drop it like it's hot. If this world was mine, I'd take your dreams and make them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take your enemies in front of God.